my channel. It is your girl, Adrienne Yvette. So, first I need a favor from everyone watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to thumbs up this video and leave me a comment down in the comment section letting me know how you like this video. Anyway, y'all know the regular, like the basics. But thank you guys for watching this video. So today I am going to give you my 5 tips for applying the perfect foundation. So this is just my routine. This is just what I do. So hopefully these tips can help someone out. No, I am not a makeup artist. I am not a professional. I did not go to school for this. But I have watched hella YouTube tutorials from makeup artists. And I've been doing my makeup for a while now. So, you know, just use that as my my resume. Anyway, if you want to hear my 5 tips, keep watching this video. Okay, so this is not a tip, but first you definitely need to get your hair out of your face. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna put my hair up. Okay, so I'm back. Don't worry about my bun. This is not for you to understand. This is not a hair video on how to put in a bun with braid. It's not one of those. So don't come for me. Anyway, so let's start off. Tip number 1. First, you want to find a good foundation. So find the best match for you. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you also want to make sure you take into consideration, of course, the color and or the shade, I mean. And you also want to make sure you get the right foundation for your skin type. So I have oily skin. I mainly use matte foundations because my face is not gonna be looking crazy by the end of the day when I wear this foundation. Like, it don't matter how much I set my foundation or whatever, what kind of primer. Like, if I don't have a matte foundation because my skin is oily, it's gonna look oily and crazy by the end of the day. If you have dry skin, do not use a matte foundation, or I wouldn't recommend a matte foundation. I mean, I don't know, I don't have dry skin to use a matte foundation and be like, no, you should never use that. Maybe some people do, but I wouldn't recommend a matte foundation. It's just gonna dry your skin out. But anyway, because that's what it's supposed to do. So, number 1, make sure you find the right foundation. Luckily for me, this is like one of my faves right now. It's the Morphe Matte Foundation in the color F4.40. So, and I can't remember the price of this, but I think I mentioned this in another video before. So make sure you guys go back, watch that other video. It'll have more information on this. But yeah, this is I found this pretty much matches perfectly to my skin tone. So sometimes I know people mix foundations, or also if it's not right on point, maybe if it's a little bit too light, people do fix that with bronzer or whatever. If it's a little bit too dark, you can fix it with concealer to lighten it a little bit, like a highlighter, concealer, or whatever, to lighten it a little bit. But just to make sure it's not too far off. So this is perfect for me. So this is what I'm gonna use today. And I am just gonna go ahead and apply these things as I go. But first, I want to get to my tip number 2. Make sure you guys prime your face first. The primer that I am currently using, I just wanted to try this. So it's the travel size, but it's the Benefits Pore Professionals Matte Rescue Primer. I really like this. The consistency is more like a gel rather than a silicone. So silicone primers will smooth out your pores more and make them look non-existent. But this one does a little of that, and it basically it helps keep my oil like at bay. So it helps along with the matte foundation. So I'm gonna go ahead, of course, and make sure your face is clean first. You don't want to apply anything to your face if it's not clean. So always clean your face. But I'm just gonna put this on. So that was tip number 1 and tip number 2. Tip number 1, make sure you find a good foundation. And tip number 2, make sure you always prime your face first before you apply your foundation. Okay, so as you can see, I don't usually put foundation on my forehead anymore because once I like blend all this in, it's still product on either the brush or the sponge, whatever I'm using to put on my forehead. So I always just do it that way. Okay, so now that I have the foundation on, tip number 3, make sure you use the right tool. So for me, with the Morphe foundation, what I mean by that is this dries kind of quickly. And so basically you need to use like the right tool for it. So what I've learned with this particular foundation is either I can use a damp beauty blender sponge, or I can use, and excuse my sponge, it's very dirty, I need to wash it. That's like a bonus tip. Please wash your makeup tools. So yeah, so I use a damp beauty blender sponge, or I use a really dense like foundation brush because it's gonna like really spread that product out. But since I've been talking with this foundation on my face right now, I'm just gonna use a damp sponge to blend this out because I'm pretty sure it's like drying up, and if I don't, I'm gonna look crazy. So let me do that. Okay, so also you do want to make sure you get like all these little creases like around your nose. Sometimes I will take a brush too if I am using a sponge, just so I can make sure I get all those creases, and then like the eyes and stuff. You just want to make sure everything's like blended out. So, and I drag it down, of course, just to make sure everything's like blended out evenly and nicely. So that is the foundation on. Also, another tip like that you can do, this is not like, you don't have to do this, but I didn't today just for the sake of this video because I'm just making a foundation video. But you can also use like a color correcting concealer to put on before you put on your foundation. Like right here, I could have put some right here and it probably would have covered that up a little bit more. Or you can double up on your foundation, like put on an extra layer. But honestly, for me, like this is fine, especially for every day, because it still covered it pretty well. And this is a full coverage foundation. So this foundation, you don't have to like, me personally, I don't have to put on extra layers, or I don't necessarily have to put on a color corrector under it if I don't want to. But that's just another like option, another little tip. Tip number 4 is basically what I just said. Make sure you blend well. Like I said, I use a sponge to blend out that foundation, but I also use the brush as well, just to make sure it was super blended. Like it should be no lines, you should not be able to tell where your makeup stops and all that. Like you shouldn't be able to see any of that. So I, a lot of times, use 2 different tools, or I'll just like, it takes not a long time, but like you can't rush putting on foundation either. because you definitely need to make sure it's blended. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody has had the moments where you be out, you taking pictures, you thought you looked cute, and then you come back and look at the picture like the next day or something, be like, this shit was not fucking blended. Why ain't nobody motherfucking tell me? But anyway, so yeah. And now, tip number 5, you want to make sure that you set your foundation. Sometimes I may set, like, because I do my brows first and then I put on my foundation. I may set my foundation then and then go in with like concealer and all the rest of the stuff that I do. Or most of the time what I do is just do all that stuff and then wait till the very end and set my foundation. But either way, you need to set your foundation. Even if you have dry skin, if you have oily skin, combination skin, it doesn't matter. Please make sure you set your foundation, especially in like the summer months. If you are wearing like, especially if you like to wear a lot of makeup and stuff during the summer, like it's hot outside, it's humid, especially here in the South, like you definitely need to set your foundation. What I like to use to set my foundation is the Master Fix Setting Perfect Loose Powder by Maybelline. This, like, it don't matter, like I can run out of this, I can go get something expensive, whatever, like it doesn't matter. This is like $10, I think, and Maybelline products at Ulta, because y'all know that's my store, always be like buy one get one half off or something like that. But yeah, I think this is like $10 from Ulta. I don't know, but y'all can go on the website. Y'all don't got nothing to do right now anyway. It's quarantine. Just go on the website and look. If y'all haven't tried this, I would recommend it, because this like one of my favorite face setting powders. Mind you, I haven't used like really expensive face setting powders either. Like I probably would like those too, but like usually when I try really expensive things, I tend to just go back to like what I know, what has worked before for me, because I just like those products better. But comment down below in the comment section if y'all think I really need to like use something else, like I really need to try it because I'm gonna love it. Just leave some recommendations down in the comment section, period. But yes, so this is the first step to setting. So I'm just gonna put this all over my face. Like I said, usually my eyebrows are done before I put on my foundation. So I do like set my eyebrows too. And as y'all can see, I am like dabbing it into my skin rather than like swiping it on there, because this is gonna help set that foundation too. Or what did I say? This is what's gonna help set the foundation as well. If you're like stippling that powder into your skin, it's not gonna wipe any foundation off basically. So that's that. And then the second step to setting your foundation is to use a setting spray. So once again, for me, okay, let me show y'all like my favorite setting spray, but it's running out, so I'm probably gonna use this other one. So like right now, my favorite setting spray is this Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. It's so great. Like it's continuous spray, and it just comes out like this mist, like a mist of love. That's running out, so we just gonna save like the last little bit. But right now, I'm just gonna use this little NYX matte finish. We're just gonna use that right now, and that's pretty much how I set my foundation, period. So if I do my foundation first, then after this, or before I set it and before I put on the spray, I do everything else, and then usually at the very end, I'll spray it, set it with the powder, all that good stuff. So I also have some bonus tips. Like I said, before you put on your foundation, you can always use color correctors to correct those dark marks, kind of conceal those before you put on your foundation so it looks more flawless and more smooth. And then also, like, basically, really this should have been in the tip. It's not even really a bonus. Like, it's almost like tip number 1. Like, make sure you take care of your skin, you guys. So Like for me, I have oily skin. Like I try to use products that do not have a lot of oil in them. I also wash my face twice a day, even if I don't wear makeup. Of course, I wash my face in the morning, but I also wash my face at night. Like, change your pillowcases, your bed sheets, all that. Especially right now, a lot of people are doing more of this, but like wiping down your phones and all that kind of good stuff. Like me, because I wear makeup a lot, I don't touch my face, because like when you start touching your face, you start wiping stuff off. So me personally, I don't touch my face a lot. But if you do, or like a lot of people, and like maybe if you work in the office, you're always like leaning on your hands or something like that. Like, try not to do that kind of stuff. And then of course, like everybody knows, make sure you drink plenty of water. I like drinking alkaline water. So whatever kind of water, just make sure you drink plenty of it. So those are my 5 tips for applying the perfect foundation, period. So it just look like your skin. Oh girl, what you use? Nothing. Coconut oils is natural. Like, then you can start telling people that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, thanks you guys for watching this video. Let me know how you like these tips. Let me know if these tips, any of these tips, are working for you guys. And yeah, see you next time.